So if you haven't heard, this MAC Lippie over here is the most popular and trending item on the internet right now. It's out of stock on Sephora Singapore at the moment I'm recording this. So this is MAC Alone Time. It's kind of like that true grayish neutral kind of color. It went viral because of this one creator who put it on her lips, and you know, when she was watching it, you could tell the color was a little bit more not so wearable to at first glance, but when she put it on, it looked really good on her. And I saw the video, I was like, oh, consider me influenced. But I did want to put it on my lips, see how it looked like actually on my skin. So I did go down to the MAC boutique, swatched it on my lips, and yeah, I was like, okay, done, let's get it. So that's why I have it in my hands right now. This is the Lustreglass lipstick formula. So it's not super duper pigmented. It is actually just like a nice like wash of color on the lips. The base pigment is not really strong on this. However, I know that MAC is not like the most affordable brand, and maybe this might be a little bit out of your budget. So if you want something of a similar vibe to Alone Time, I actually am going to swatch 3 lippies that I have with me that are definitely much more affordable. Do a little bit of a lip swatch, lip comparison, and also just like a quick speed review because girl, I've been so busy with work, but I still want to talk about makeup while I have the energy on the weekends, so let's get into it. We're gonna go in with MAC's Alone Time all over the lips first. So this is one swatch, and you can tell just one pass of it, there's like barely any color, and the base pigment is non-existent. For this Lustreglass finish, right, I feel like you really have to do multiple passes for the color to really show up. So I'm gonna do that. I feel like the color of the bullet here makes it look really intimidating, like, oh my god, it's gonna wash me out. But when I put it on my lips, I'm just like, this is real pretty. I really love how neutral beigey brown this is, because it's not leaning too red or too pink either. It doesn't pull very warm or very cool. So I really love how this color looks like. Can pair really well with even today's like lighter makeup or something that's a little bit more dramatic or smoky. I think this would be a really like good versatile lip color. So I'm really happy with this. Normally when I wear MAC Alone Time, I will pair it with a lip liner. This is the Lily by Red Smiley Lip Blending Stick in number 3. So normally what I'll do is, it's this like cool tone like brown, right? This one is truly cool tone with like a grayish undertone. So I'll just like line the corners a little bit. And when you compare this to the MAC Alone Time, you can see that MAC's Alone Time has more pink in it compared to the lip liner here. I've actually been wearing this lippie quite often because it's so easy to just like put on. I think if you're somewhere around my skin tone, something different at least for nudes, I do believe that if you're someone of a deeper skin tone, this one might be washing you out because it's very pale. I think if maybe you're like 1-2 shades darker than me, I think you still can get away with it. One of the main reasons why this lippie doesn't look too off on my skin tone and myself personally is also because my natural lip color has a lot of grey in it. So I feel that once any particular lippie has that greyish undertone to it, right, I don't look sickly in a sense. Obviously there's a lot of more vibrancy, my lips were better, but with that hint of greyish undertone, right, because my lips are kind of pale and grey, and when I put on like a very like bright lip or very like saturated, maybe a vivid red, that's when it kind of clashes with my facial harmony with makeup and all that kind of thing. This is actually my first time owning the Lustreglass formula from MAC, and I will say that it's very comfortable. It's very lightweight even though I've layered up quite a bit. So you can see when I purse my lips together, I don't get any of like that string cheese effect even though I've layered up. It's very thin and it does provide quite a nice shine. The shine of this, it is not as glossy and high shine as compared to maybe putting on a lip gloss on top of this, but straight from a bullet itself, I think in real life it actually looks really nice. I'm not sure how it looks like on camera, maybe it's not as intense, but for me, I always believe in putting on makeup for myself that looks presentable enough for real life. Sometimes on camera, the lighting, everything kind of affects it, so maybe it looks a little bit meh on camera, but to me, in real life, the shine of this is just nice. I'm gonna do a quick blot test. You can see that most of it came off, and this is how my lips are looking like. Majority of it actually came off, so definitely after eating, drinking, snacking or whatever, you definitely have to reapply for max alone time. I don't know if you guys can tell, but my glasses are like so dirty. I've been trying to clean it, like taking it off, like cleaning it on my shirt, but I can't seem to get it clean. So I'm sorry if that is very distracting, but yeah, this is how alone time looks like. Now this lipstick retails for 42 Singapore dollars, which not the most expensive lipstick out there in the market, but it is pretty pricey. Frequently compared to Laka's Bonding Glow lipstick in boys. So these two have been talked about quite a bit. It's like people are saying like this gives a similar vibe, so I got it and I just like kind of want to see how it works as well. This is how it looks like. It has that grayish tone to it, right? But when I swatch it, this one is MAC Alone Time. I'm gonna swatch it on top over here. This has more of like that mauvey color to it. I think straight from the bullet, it looks pretty similar, but once you swatch it out, it's actually pretty different. Just to show you guys, MAC Alone Time, Laka's Boy. It is so subtle, like you can't really tell the difference straight from the bullet, but when swatched out, it's actually pretty different, but the vibes are pretty similar. There's nothing on my lips right now. I am just gonna go in with one pass with this lipstick. I do want to give Laka some credit because colors like this Lippie Boy is actually really hard to come by in K-beauty because not a lot of brands are willing to kind of step out of the box and, you know, do more creative shades or something in a more different direction. Colors right now that a lot of K-beauty brands do are like your pop of pinks, your corals, beiges, not even reds. I feel like reds are a little bit hard to come by. It's very saturated, muted colors. So this kind of like strong grayish undertones, it is not common in K-beauty, so props to Laka for actually doing that. I guess the way Laka tried to make this a little bit more wearable is that they added a bit more of that purplish tone to it. So I do feel that personally, between Laka's Boy and Alone Time, I do feel that Alone Time is a little bit more wearable. It's not even one layer, it's like multiple passes, like normally how you would wear it for a Lippie. Because I don't even think a lot of people are just going to like that for lipstick, right? You're going to like do multiple passes to kind of build up the color. You can see this. Ooh, it speaks to me. It speaks to me truly. And I would say the biggest question most people will have about the two lipsticks are the formula difference, correct? Alone Time and Laka's Boy. I will say this one feels a lot more emollient, a lot more thicker in layer. When I build it up, I can feel it like there, but when I do purse my lips, you don't see any like string cheese. Much easier to build up the base pigment for this compared to MAC's Alone Time. So if you're someone who has really like pigmented lips, you want something with a stronger base pigment, I think Laka's Boy will be a much better option as compared to Alone Time, because Alone Time doesn't really have much of that base pigment to it. I would say maybe like a 30, 35, 40% is kind of stretching it a little bit. It's not really that pigmented, but I think that's the beauty of the lipstick as well, because it just adds that wash of grayish neutral brown color. I would say that MAC's Alone Time is a true neutral grey brown, while Laka's Boy is more of like that mauvey grey brown with that purple undertone. If these two lippies over here were released part of like a lipstick collection of some sorts, I would totally say that yes, they are totally from the same lineup. But yeah, I think they give off the same vibe, but to say that they are 100% dupe of one another, I don't think so. But if you're looking for something with that same vibe, then definitely I would say Laka's Boy you should go and check it out. Hi, Editing Crystal here. I'm editing this video that you're watching right now. I just want to pop in quickly to make a quick clarification and say that I do personally prefer Laka's Boy over MAC's Alone Time in terms of color, because personally I do like the purple tone and I like that greyish kind of aesthetic to it. And I think it also depends on like your personal makeup preference. So example, if you love warmth, you like reds, you like oranges, corals on your lips, and you have skin tone that needs that warmth to brighten up your entire makeup look, then probably would not recommend MAC's Alone Time or Laka's Boy. Ideally, go and swatch it out for yourself. I feel MAC is a little bit more accessible as compared to, you know, Laka, because Laka is a K-beauty brand. So go and swatch it out for you in store, and if you're somewhere around like my skin tone, I personally like Laka's Boy. The next Lippie comparison would be from Laka as well, but this is the Fruity Glam Tint in 121 Ash Nut. Now, I know a lot of you guys love this lip tint, recommend it as well, rave about it, so I want to pick this up and like, you know, test it out, see how it is like. Actually, I did own this before, but like, I don't really have a super duper strong impression of it. I did do a review on it, you can go and check it out, but those are my thoughts prior. And people were saying that 121 Ash Nut has the same vibe as Laka's Boy from the Bonding Glow lipstick. So I'm just going to do a swatch like right over here. You can see that right off the bat, it is looking pretty different like shade-wise. But the tone mutedness of it is actually pretty much there as well. This, I feel, is more of like the warm tone version of Laka's Boy. And obviously a lip tint, so this one will actually stain instead of just, you know, going right off your lips. It just smells like that green apple candy scent. So I'm just gonna go ahead and put one layer on. So this is how one dip of 121 Ash Nut looks like on both my upper and bottom lip. I will say that this definitely leans a lot more warmer compared to the two shades prior. And this has more of that reddish tone to it, so it pulls like orangey red, but then it has that subdued brown tone to it, so it does make it a little bit more wearable. And if you're wondering, I was categorized as a light summer, but I honestly don't really care too much. But I also do know that I was recommended both cool and warm tone lippies for me. It's just that I can't wear super duper pale lippies because that would totally like wash me out. Like your pale pinks, pale nudes, that's a big no-no. So colors like this, which have a bit more tonal depth to it, right? This actually works for me. So yeah, I actually really like this color on me. I'll be completely honest and say that I haven't really worn this Lippie as much as compared to the other two, and this one that I'm gonna talk about next. So yeah, I mean, I've worn it maybe like once or twice, and again, I don't really have a super duper like strong impression of it. I don't hate it, but I don't love it either necessarily. I think it's nice. I think it's a nice lip tint to have. Don't come from me, okay? I do see why people love this particular lip tint so much, because I think it's also because of the base pigmentation to it. It's not super duper strong, but it's not super duper light and barely noticeable as compared to maybe like MAC's Alone Time. This one has a bit more of that punch to it. And obviously this is only like one layer, and I would say that it looks pretty even. Nothing is looking patchy, and the shine is actually really pretty. It's not super duper high shine, which I know some people may not want because it doesn't look like the most natural for a super duper high shine gloss. So let me just go in with one more layer. So this is the second layer of Laka's 121 Ash Nut on my lips. And I will say, I definitely prefer it with two layers on. I'm just the type of girly that really loves the pigmentation, the punch, and like, I want to look like I'm wearing makeup. I love a bit of color, a bit more of that saturation in my lips. I'm not like the super biggest fan of the clean girl aesthetic. That's just me personally, so something like this is definitely what I would usually gravitate more towards. And also, I don't know if it caught it, but when I applied the second layer, you could see that the freshly applied layer was lighter than the first dried down layer that I had. So that's one thing to take note, is that the Laka Fruity Glam tints, they do oxidize a little bit when you first apply it, and then when it dries down, it looks a little bit different. It looks a little bit lighter when you first apply it, and then it dries down to something that's a bit more deeper and darker. Not very much deeper, maybe like a 5-10%, a little bit deeper. Is it very similar to MAC Alone Time? I don't think so. I think this is truly like a true neutral brown. I think if you were to even block out Boy over here, right, you can see the undertone difference is pretty different as well. Blot test time. Definitely some transfer onto the tissue paper, but it's not as much product transfer as compared to all the like glossy lipstick that we tried earlier on. And yeah, majority of it actually stays on my lips. I would say maybe the color itself, I would give it maybe a solid 70-80% of it stays on my lips. The glossiness, that beautiful shine kind of goes away, unfortunately, but I think that's just the nature of like glossy lip tints. Last comparison that I have over here is actually from Flowerknows. So this was part of the Butterfly Cloud Collar collection, and this is in C02 over here. So kind of similar in a sense, but it's also a lipstick bullet form. But I think this is actually the warmest out of all of them. Let me just swatch it across, like right over here. Yeah, so it's also one of those like jammy, melty formulas, and you can see this is definitely a lot more jammy as compared to all the other lip formulas. This one's actually pulling a little bit more of that pinky brown, and you can see that this one over here is not the most even, in a sense where this one has a bit more product like here, and it's a bit more transparent here, you know, that kind of thing. So I just want to show you guys how this actually compares to Alone Time. So one layer. I feel like across the board, right, MAC's Alone Time has the lowest base pigment, and I think all the other lippies that I recommend today has a stronger base pigment to it. So that's why even with one layer of the Flowerknows Butterfly Cloud Collar collection in CO2, right, this one definitely pulls a little bit more pink, but the vibe of like, I'm letting my natural lips peek through a little bit more, it's definitely showing right now. So if you like a pinky brown moment, then this is definitely an option. We're gonna go in with one more layer of this. Oh, actually this is pretty. This is real pretty. I actually really like this color a lot. I actually wore this. If I were to take it all the way to the bottom, you can see I've actually used this quite a bit. But because this formula is so soft and like goopy and jammy, this melts very, very easily. So I think for this particular formula, right, you really have to use like a lip liner to make sure your lips are, you know, nicely contoured. If not, I feel like everything is gonna like run all over the place. It's also the sweetest smelling, like the strongest in scent. It smells like cotton candy actually. If you are someone who is very sensitive to those that are like jammy formulas, which I wasn't a really big fan of, those like clicky pens, and then like you put it on with that jammy, melty formula. I hate that kind of formula, okay? But this one is a special exception. I actually can bear with this. It is not like super goopy and heavy compared to those. Definitely more emollient than the Laka's Bonding Glow lipstick in Boy. This second formula, like right over here. So just KIV letting you know, giving you the honest truth. I do think this lippie is pretty nice as well. It actually pulls pretty neutral somehow or rather on me, surprisingly, right? It doesn't look as pinky brown as compared to the swatch, but you can see that between these two, MAC Alone Time is still the most neutral brown compared to all of these lippies. So I think it's very fascinating to see, because like MAC is well known to be like a makeup artistry kind of brand, and I can tell that they make colors that are really like truly neutral, when I think like all of these other colors, they say that they might be neutral, but I think they add in like a drop of like either neutral warm or neutral cool. So yeah, I feel like it's really, I feel like it's very interesting to see that. I nearly forgot. Blot test with this over here. I'll tell you first, majority of it is gonna come off. Yep. Majority of it did come off, so yeah. But I can still feel like similar like the Laka's Bonding Glow lipstick. There's still that reminiscent of that emollient feeling on my lip. I can feel the plushness of it when I purse my lips together. It does have that wash of color to it still, like a very barely there, like 5-10% of whatever lipstick is on my lips right now. If you have any more questions, let me know down below. I love to chit chat with y'all, and let me know, do y'all like MAC's alone time? How do you feel about it? Love it, hate it, or just meh? Thank you so much for hanging out with me today, and I'll see you guys in my next video, which you can check out over here. Bye!